Russia's aggression against Ukraine is sheer violation of international law. It is against the sovereignty of Ukraine and against the territorial integrity of this country. And it's also violation of the international humanitarian law while they're killing the innocent civilians, and it's a war crime. So that's why we are strongly condemning, as you said, Prime Minister Kishida with his strongest terms. We think that this is not just a question of European security, but it's a question of Asian security as well. In answering a question, I would like to refer you to our concerns in Asia, because, for example, Japan's 4 islands are still being occupied illegally by the Russians. We have concerns. There are attempts to unilaterally change the status quo in our territorial waters in East China Sea. Also, there are similar issues in South China Sea. That's why we are so much concerned about this, and we promote the idea of free and open Indo-Pacific. We just recently have had a visit of European Union presidents, Mr. Michel and Ms. von der Leyen, and we shared this concern in this region, in our area. Japan and Georgia has been united very strongly in responding to this war. We highly commend Georgia's response, especially in the international arena, because we co-sponsored UN resolutions, including the resolution that terminated Russia's mandate in Human Rights Council and United Nations. Or another example that we jointly referred the case to International Criminal Court to investigate the violation of international humanitarian law. Therefore, we are so closely, strongly united in order to achieve the common goal, to establish, restore the peace immediately in Ukraine. This is why, the reason is that both of our countries share the importance of rule-based order, not just in Europe, but globally. We have decided to impose unprecedentedly strong measures against Russia in response to this war. This covers wide areas like not only the financial sectors, but also trade and other sectors. We have frozen the assets of 140 individuals in Russia, frozen or imposed the export ban to 70 military organizations. We have imposed another export ban on sensitive technologies to Russia, including advanced technologies such as quantum computing. We're adding new names of Russian banks to whose assets will be frozen. So these are the measures, and as we see these measures perspective or the objective, of course we want to not to allow Russians to win the war, isolate them, and achieve peace as immediately as possible. And of course we want to hold those who are responsible to account. Those are our objectives. And to answer your question about the impact, yes, I think we are already observing strong impacts of these measures. Russia's capability to continue war has been hindered, and to achieve their capability to achieve their objectives. The impact on Russian economy is being felt in a wide range of sectors, trade, finance, energy, technology, and so forth. So I would say that costs imposed on Russian economy has risen a lot, and we will continue these measures until we achieve our goals. I think the pressure that they're feeling is increasing over time. Of course, each country has its own circumstances that they have to take into consideration in imposing their sanction measures. For example, in case of Japan, we're dependent on foreign energy resources. 99.7% of our crude oil consumption is coming from overseas resources. So it's not easy, but despite this fact, we decided to phase out our import of Russian crude oil in coming months. We will have to move gradually, but we will achieve the total ban of our import. Talking about our assistance to Ukraine, of course we're providing humanitarian aid together with Georgia. The amount that we announced is around $200 million US, and being provided now through international organizations and through Japanese NGOs. But here we also have difficulty coming out of our constitutional restraints, so we cannot export or transfer armaments to Ukrainians. But here again, we decided to change our regulations so that we can provide some non-lethal defense equipment, such as bulletproof jackets or helmets and so forth. So here again, we take our circumstances into consideration, but we are also resorting maximum measures. As we go forward, we invite our international partners, like including Georgia, to stand with us in implementing these measures, and also not to allow circumvention and evasion. And we'd like to continue this partnership with your country in various areas. For example, we can help Georgia to decrease the dependency of energy on Russia through our assistance or investment in energy sector. Also, we noticed that there's a dependency on Georgia's agricultural export to Russia, and there are intentions on Georgian side to diversify its market. So we can help Georgians by improving the quality of agricultural products so that you can find discover new markets for your export goods. First of all, I would like to express my condolences to those journalists who died, unfortunately, during this war while covering the situation, and also my sympathies towards family members, friends, close people, to those who have had to sacrifice their precious, lives during this war. Yes, I really welcome this campaign to support journalists active now in Ukraine, and I welcome Nетгазети and Batumelev's decision to participate very much, because we of course are very much concerned about this current situation in Ukraine surrounding journalists. As I said, some of them have been killed, unfortunately, while covering this unjust war. Just a tragic violation of human rights, torture, just killing the innocent people, civilians, all those violations. And the journalists themselves turned into the victims while trying to uncover those crimes. So I think the safety of those people are paramount importance. That's why I think it's very important to have discussions and try to support those people, media workers, journalists who are covering this tragedy. We recently participated in discussions on human rights situation in Ukraine, including the situation surrounding the journalists in Ukraine during the Human Rights Council of United Nations discussions. And we supported the resolution that all those violations has to be investigated and hold all those responsible to account. So that's an attempt from our side, our government, to assist those people who are covering the situation. And also we will continue to cooperate with our G7 partners, other countries and in the international community to fight against Russia's attempts to spread disinformation on this war. Coming back to the beginning of your question earlier, you asked about the importance of independent media. As one of the advanced democracies, Japan has been strongly supporting independent media globally, and also we're very much concerned about the cyber attacks or disinformation attempting to discredit the democratic institutions or weaken the healthy public discussions. And here in Georgia, we of course have noticed some of the concerns expressed by civil society surrounding the question of independence of media or media independence. And therefore we are assisting independent media like Nетгазети by providing my interview or participating in a joint project which is very interesting. If you remember, we donated a small mobile library for mountainous people, young people especially, so that they can have access to books. This is one small example of our assistance to independent media as an interesting project. We also cooperate with public broadcaster, a TV channel created publicly. We have offered them a TV series of Japanese culture. It's been now started to broadcast recently, so that you can familiarize yourself with Japanese traditional or contemporary cultures. So that's what we are doing, and we're hoping that we continue this kind of cooperation so that Georgian democracy will develop in a right trajectory, enhancing its independent media and democratic institutions.